What is up, guys? I'm George Mossey. So last night, 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 12 has aired. We checked in with Jovi and Yara, who are still in the Czech Republic, and they had some Mila free time, which seems to be Jovi's favorite time. He really cherishes the moments where he cannot have Mila around and he can just be himself, which kind of makes everyone feel a certain type of way because we feel like at this point in Mila's life, at her age, this should be the time that everybody wants to spend a lot of time with her. I don't want to put Yara in this situation because Yara definitely feels that she can have fun with her daughter and without her daughter. Jovi seems to think when Mila is around, he cannot be himself. So that is something that he definitely needs to work on. So we actually met Jovi's friend Talmadge, and he told us some stories about how they used to travel all over the world, and they definitely met quite a few girls in the Ukraine, which actually caught Yara by surprise because Jovi had told Yara that he had only had one other girlfriend before her, which that definitely sounded a little sketchy. Jovi is definitely an adult frat boy, so the idea that he had no other relationships but Yara definitely was something that I would say that's probably BS. So we're meeting Talmadge, and he's kind of sharing a little bit of him and Jovi's history together and traveling and meeting different girls and doing different things, going to all the different strip clubs. And Yara just feels that she doesn't want this type of person in Jovi's life. But again, Yara has to understand this has always been Jovi. We remember last season, we watched Jovi take Yara to the strip club. This is still who Jovi is. Just because Jovi got married and just because they had Mila does not change the fact that Jovi is still Jovi, and Jovi is still interested in doing the things that Jovi enjoys. And that includes traveling, going to strip clubs, drinking alcohol as early as 8 a.m. These are just things that Jovi enjoys doing. And I think that Yara is going to have to accept the fact that that's kind of who she married. And even though he has a past that she doesn't love, Jovi did say last night, we all have a past. And when you date someone, you have to understand that person did date before you, they had relationships before you, and they did stupid things. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and realize that you've accepted this person for who they are, and hopefully they have learned from those things and they're not still doing those things while you guys are together. So Jovi decides, since the next stop on their trip is Germany and Talmadge is from Germany, that it only makes sense to invite him along with them as they go to Germany. So Yara feels like this is ridiculous because this isn't a party trip, and she is actually going there to be an emotional and a support person for her friend who actually fled the Ukraine to go there for safety. And she feels like by Jovi bringing Talmadge, they're going to make it into some sort of party trip with drinking and strip clubs and doing, things that don't support what she's doing. But at the same time, I do feel like it might be better for Jovi to be a little occupied doing other things so Yara can have time to spend time with her friend and help her friend and be that support system that she needs. But again, we are watching Jovi and Yara have some pretty bad communication. They aren't really on the same page. They don't see eye to eye, and they're doing things behind each other's back, and they don't really ask each other for permission to do things. They just do it and tell the other person to deal with it. Like Yara seeing that apartment and saying, Jovi, this is what I'm doing, deal with it. And then Jovi saying, oh, Talmadge is going to travel with us. He did give her the opportunity to say that she didn't want Talmadge to go, but he did it in front of Talmadge to make it seem as though Yara is a mean person and she would be the main reason why he couldn't go, making things awkward. I do think talking to each other about things in private is something that you should do as a couple, and you shouldn't put each other on the spot, or I like to call it throw them under the bus. By telling Yara she could say no in front of Talmadge was kind of throwing her under the bus because they had just met, and Jovi was going to make it as though, well, if he can't go with us, this has to be your fault. I don't think that that's a positive thing in any relationship or marriage. You need to be on the same page with each other, and don't always try to throw each other under the bus when you disagree with the other person's decision. All right, guys, I'm George Mossey. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates. I'll talk to all of you really soon.